6 major keys to more abundance coming to your way in the new year, and how are you going to be able to make that happen? Have you ever been on the go within your business, just flying at the, basically the rims of your seat because you're just constantly on the go? You're overthinking, you're not taking the time to plan, you're comparing yourself to other people and what other people are doing, and you never actually taking the time to just stop, reflect, and write down exactly what it is that you want for your personal life, for your health, for the relationships that you want in your life that are going to help bring you more energy and pour into you, but then also that are going to help propel you forward. And that is what we're going to talk about today, because these are all elements that are going to help you move into the new year with more abundance, more blessings, and more things coming your way. Welcome, Dion. This is the first time I've ever seen you with pigtails.
Well, that's because I just left the gym and I was on a roll today and I was like, oh my God, it's 12:50. And I ran back to the house, grabbed some lipstick, and here I am. So when you talk about putting, making priority and doing all the things, that's you get pigtails today.
I know, that's good. She's making a priority for her health and not waiting for the new year, but taking action right now. No, that's key. That's I've been loving seeing your notifications on the watch when you finish your workout. It's like, girl, I need to get on my workouts. Hey, Buswala. Hey, Collier.
But
Hey.
see, here's the thing with you and I. See, because you come from a fitness background, even if you take time off, getting back into it it's almost kind of like muscle memory. Even for your brain, you can get back. If I take time off, I take time off. and you talk about getting ready for the end of the year and closing out the year strong. How many of us say January 1? Come on, fitness professional. How many clients did you have January 1st
No,
versus December? Because they were like, the year's done. Let's just forget the year, right?
no. And that's what happens even with people in their business. Sometimes they think like, well, it's December. I'll just wait until the new year. That's when I'll start planning. That's when I'll start promoting. That's when I'll start. It's the holidays. No one's going to be
Yep.
buying now. They're shopping for Christmas. They're not interested in. No, that's not true.
And then I have another question. So I'm sure you had a full load January 1st. How long did that last?
It lasts until about the spring.
And because of that, this is why I've started to condition my mind. Why am I putting it off till next week? Why am I putting it off till the beginning of the year? If I go ahead and start now, especially now, we're just about December 1st. How much further along can I be January 1st, right? I was telling you that I've been having these issues in my shoulders and my arms where I couldn't stretch. I even showed you like one arm was here and the other arm was here. I couldn't stretch it all the way up. And you said to me, you was like, you got to start stretching. And the trainer was like, you got to start stretching that arm out. And I told you I had the lap bands and stuff. And I started using that after every workout just to do a little bit more pull. Man, I am so proud of me. I was so excited the other day. I was like, small win. I could reach all the way behind my back to unstrap my bra. I couldn't do that before, right? And so if you start taking little steps now and close out your year strong, you're starting your next year in a much better place. I mean, we use the fitness example, but the same thing is for your business. Start with small wins, aka being able to stretch behind your back, right? And start doing that now, and you'll take your business into a much better place.
Yeah, one of the main things is to look at your foundation. So to review your current year. So it's
Mm.
30th, we're going into December. If you haven't taken the time, take the time to actually review your January till now. What worked? What didn't work? What were some of your like biggest successes? Even if it's a short list, those small
Yes.
matter. And then what were the actions that you took to get you to those big wins? And then what were maybe some of the things that you could have did differently? Maybe like certain habits in your day, what time you woke up, what were your daily initiatives that you worked to get done in the morning? Or did you put things off? Like you knew you had things to do, but you
Yeah.
would always constantly put them off, and now they're just piling and piling and piling. Now you're getting overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to delegate. maybe if you haven't hired a team or an assistant or someone to bring in that maybe does something better than you, maybe it's email, maybe it's editing your content,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's landing page or funnel design, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's a coach that will help get you to that next level. Where is an area where you can possibly, instead of thinking, okay, how am I going to do this? Who am I going to bring in to help alleviate some of these stressors that I'm experiencing within my business moving into the new year? So that way you can replicate the success that you were having and then delegate the areas of your weakness. And that's going to help propel you and move you even forward further into the new year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that is a great tip as far as looking where you are now for the year in your business so that you can close out strong, especially right after the Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, right? A lot of people, especially the month of November, everybody says November is a slow month because everybody's waiting for those Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales, right? And then a flood of, if you set everything up properly, a flood of sales will come in from those couple of days, and now you're overwhelmed with trying to get all the orders fulfilled or getting all your clients in place and all of the above, and it's a lot, right? But that one weekend normally does not save your entire year, right? So you need to now review and see what you did. So here's the one thing I talked about, how if you set it up properly, you'll have a flood of sales for that week. But here's the thing, you could have not set it up properly, right? I know in my business, when I'm not communicating with my audience via email, especially, my sales don't go as well because my audience is conditioned to continually hear from me. And people feel like if I email people a lot, that's going to alienate my audience. Every email does not have to be a sales email, but it is a form of communication. I say this all the time. Communication is the key to any relationship, romantic, business, friendship, any relationship, and emails is a strong form of communication. And so you need to look back over your year and see what worked. Was it the emails that worked? Was it when you were constantly showing up on lives that worked better for you? Was it the content that you put out on your social media that worked better for you? What was it that worked better for you? And then concentrate that in the month of December to really have a strong closeout. You need to know which one of your products was the best sellers, which were not the best sellers. Figure out why they weren't the best sellers. I tell this to my audience all the time. I have this natural bug spray that I make for the body essence side. And not only is good for adults, children, and pets, but I initially created it to because I was going to Puerto Rico and I don't want mosquitoes. I had a client that bought it that said it got rid of her bed bugs and saved her thousands of dollars for bed bugs, right? I could not figure out why this was not selling. It did not sell at all. When I did a review of my year after Black Friday, this was probably 2 years ago, and I was like, why isn't this bug spray selling? I had it hidden on my site. So unless somebody knew they were coming to look for it and literally went to the search engine of my site and typed it in, they would not see it there. Something as simple as that had me not making sales. That is why it's so important that you review not only your best sellers, but your slower sellers and figure out what made them do either way.
Yes, and the same way Dion's explaining products within your business or services, that can also relate to your content. Because
Oh,
on
yes.
a business owner, you should constantly be reviewing your analytics, your insights, what content is performing well, what content isn't really hitting, what's really connecting and resonating with your audience. And that's what you want to, again, double down on and then create more of that. Do away with what is not working and create more of what clearly your audience is saying, like, I crave this, I need this, I want this. And so similar, what's performing best, what's not, and then just repeat it. And honestly, some of the things that are repeating, or not repeating, but are performing well, you can go ahead and just grab it and repost the exact same piece of content, same copy, same caption, same everything. It takes out the work, it takes out the thinking, it's already done. You just pull it from maybe a couple months ago and you repost it. And so
I've done that a couple of times. And
yeah.
here's the thing, like I look at my insights and I'll see maybe my top 9 performing posts. And I've done this with every single piece of my top 9 and reposted it. And it will be in my top 9 again. So the original one and the reposted one will both be in my top 9. Now, the only thing, go ahead.
I know, sometimes it performs better.
Exactly. Now, I have done it where I will change the trending sound. So I've done it both ways, where I use the same sound to see how it would perform, or I might change a trending sound on the second time and see how it would perform. But honestly speaking, they both tend to be in the top 9. And like she said, sometimes the repost does better than the original.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yes. And so next, after you review your year, Another key element is review your relationships. Because you can go through your year and maybe, and it's just not just business, but even personal, because who you surround yourself with really matters. You can have a friend who brings you down, meaning every time you talk to them, it's gossip, it's some kind of negative thing. They're talking about the news. I don't watch the news, by the way, because there's just so many things crazy going on in the world. But like that gets into your mental psyche, that brings you down, and your energy matters. And so maybe assess and just kind of start distancing yourself away from those people, and then maybe the people that just pour life into you like so much. Reach out to them, call them, text them, have a date with them. It doesn't even have to be in person, a Zoom date. And then one of my big key goals in the new year is just to connect and network with other like-minded business owners, moms or women in business that are doing this in the same space.
Yeah.
Spread, possibly do collaborations, just because you know, it's hard as an online business owner. It's if you work from home. Like when I was in fitness, I was always interacting with people all day long. I loved it. And then now it's like just me and my baby.
You never see people.
Never see people. I go to the grocery store. You know, it's just like, it's like we as people, we need that interaction. And so social media is meant to be social. So take this and reach out to individuals and see how you two can come together, collaborate, and create something.
That is so true. One of my clients, she's actually on this live now. We worked together in the past, and it's so funny how you talk about developing relationship even through social media. I have never met Renata in person. She was on the live a second ago, Not to Be Artistry. And she was like, you know, she sent me a DM. You've been on my mind. I'm just reaching out to check on you. Just something that simple. I was just like, wow, somebody thought to check. And then we wound up doing a video chat right here on Instagram. But you start to develop and you're right, you crave, there she is, you crave human connection, right? Like you, I work from home for 2 businesses. So if I'm not working in the coaching aspect, I'm in here filling orders, making products all day long, to the point I had to start telling, people, hey, come over here. I'm cooking. It's really to get them over here to help me fill these orders. But I needed that human connection. I got my aunt over. I got my uncle to come when he was in town. I had my cousin here. And I was like, let's just have some food. But I was making them work. But I just needed that connection, just reaching out. So that's a really good thing to surround yourself, like you said, with like-minded people. Once I started going into this realm of being a business owner, I saw a lot of especially my friendship relationships, change a lot. I've shared this story where I had one of my closest friends say to me, all you do is talk about business. We don't want to hear that. Yeah. And that's fine. They didn't want to hear that, but that's what I wanted to talk about. So I had to find people who were interested in that. So that's another good point.
As you evolve as a business owner, your circle of influence will shift. Some people will wither away, and that's absolutely okay. And so one of the things that I will do every year is I'll write like my top 5 people who bring me life, and then top 5 people who I want to bring into my life. Like, who do I want to connect with? Who I need to like possibly disassociate with myself with. Like, they're not bringing, any kind of good energy propelling me forward. Because at the end of the day, you always want to be progressing and moving forward.
Yes.
Not just in your business, but personal
yes.
life. Like those connections, those conversations that you have matter. Yeah.
Very true. And if I could add a caveat onto that, some people you necessarily maybe can't separate, like certain maybe family members and things like that. But what I've learned to do is to shift the conversation. When that negativity starts to come in, and this is something that I learned in therapy. I remember saying to my therapist, my anxiety is really high today. And she said, stop taking ownership of the anxiety and call it the anxiety, right? I'm experiencing anxiety, right? So I would get with those certain people who was always woe is me, or let me tell you what's going on. And I would just shift the conversation to something that was, as they can say, higher vibration, right? Something that made me happier. So if it's something that you necessarily can't separate from, learn how to shift it, because it really will take a lot away from you. And you don't even realize it until it's probably too far gone, how it just makes you feel depleted and just all the time. So keep that in mind.
Yes. And so next after relationships is, if you have a team, it's finishing the year strong as a team. So oftentimes, we kind of do a lot of things solo in business, but when you start delegating and you bring on people, you want to review also the team wins, the team losses, address areas where they can improve, but then also allow them to openly feel confident to speak to you as the leader. how can I improve and be a better leader? What could I have done differently?
Yes.
The next month, the next quarter. And then that also is going to help build better camaraderie within your team when they feel like they can trust you and really open up and give you honest feedback as you, the leader. And then you can, when you are being a better leader, now your people are going to be able to perform better within your business, and that's going to bring in more profit to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was looking at a show on Netflix, and she's an interior designer. And that's what she did. She was like, if I'm not winning, it's because my team is not winning. And so I need to not. And she was like, I don't want to present it in a negative way. Like, you did this wrong. Here's what you did well. And here's where we can continue to improve. And just her communicating with them, that was the game changer for her business. So both of you all look beautiful today. Baby faces. I appreciate it. My face is from working out. But yeah, that's a very good aspect as well.
And so, and then next is declutter mentally and environmentally. And so what I mean when I say mentally, so mentally that will be like relationships. That could be, you know, reviewing your year, and maybe like just things that are you have in your life that you need to let go of, so that way it can like free your mind. But take the time, if you have a desk, clean your desk. If it is
I can't see my desk right now.
like, listen, if you have the desk, like, mentally I cannot function and work if my desk is piled with papers and notes and this and that, and I can't function. I need to like declutter, clean, clear out, go to take a trip to Goodwill, and then all of a sudden I feel like I can think. And so take the time to do some like not spring cleaning but winter cleaning or whatever before the new year into the new month. Like every week you should really do it. But then also take the time to have those difficult conversations.
Can you give us an example of like what mental decluttering would look like?
Well, so mental decluttering is like, for one, okay, so you have a lot on your mind. You need to take the time to write it down. Maybe you need to do some exercises, because listen, we have so many thoughts and ideas, and and it's just sitting in here. Take the time to just journal. Journaling is so therapeutic.
Man,
I'm guilty myself. I used to do it every single day for almost an hour. And that gave me, it was so liberating, and I had so much clarity. And I felt like even in business wise, a lot of the things I wrote down came to life because I got it out. The idea was on paper, and then I was better able to articulate and craft it together and make it happen, make it a reality.
Yes.
And even think of like convert to scale. It was in my mind. I wrote it down on paper. I visualized it, I actualized it, and it came into fruition. But so mental declutteration is writing it down. But then also it matters of like what you're listening to, because what you're listening to, that matters. So I'm really, really keen on what I watch, what I listen to. Even when it comes to music, I don't even know the latest and hippest hip hop, rap, nothing, because I choose to listen to audible books or motivation or learn. Like, I'm always learning, I'm always reading, I'm always studying to better myself personally, as an individual, as a mom, as a business owner, as a friend. Like, that is how you mentally declutter.
And that's so true. Like, I love that, because y'all know I love me some Ratchet TV. I love hip hop and all that kind of, y'all know I love it, right? Because I don't do any of that stuff. So it just cracks me up when I see some of that stuff. But I have found I cannot even watch that, especially when I'm focusing and working. Even the other day, I'm like, making soap and doing stuff. Me and my Frankie Beverly radio is like, that's what I need. Like his soothing voice, right? And it's just something that just kind of keeps me going, keeps me relaxed. Like you said, my son asks me all the time, Mom, you ever heard? I'm like, who? I don't know the individual. I don't know the song. Because it can really change my way of thinking subliminally.
Yes.
Right? You're not even realizing it. And so some people like classical music. I think Elle was telling me she likes her classical, where I like my smooth jazz, right? It's whatever that is for you, but that's a great way of decluttering your mind. And you're right. The other day, my mind was going so in my sleep, so it woke me up out of my sleep. And I just so happened to have my little notepad next to my bed. And I woke up, grabbed my pen, grabbed my notepad, and just started writing all the thoughts out before I even could get out of bed. And that's so funny. I didn't even realize that was decluttering. I just knew I needed to get those thoughts out. So great tip.
Thoughts will come to me at like 2, 3 a.m. and in my mind, like, I'm tired. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll remember it tomorrow. But no, you're not going to remember. So as soon as I have the thought, I literally grab my phone or have a little journal by my bed and I write it down.
Yeah.
Set a reminder to come back to that thought, because sometimes like the best creation or ideas are like in the shower, while you're driving, in your sleep. And I believe that they're like God planting little
seeds. Me too.
Within you. And he's like constantly telling you, and he's like tapping you and then he's like, until you move forward. Yeah. He's like, just trust me. Like, it's Just trust me. And that's just my personal opinion.
Maybe even using voice notes if you don't have pen and paper, just to get it out. Just maybe use a voice notes. But that's another great tip. I like that. Decluttering your mind.
But then also, not only that, when you declutter your mind and even environment, it also deals with having the difficult conversations with it, maybe with your spouse, with your friends, with your business partner. If something is weighing on you, you need to let it out. Because as Dion said earlier, communication is key. Even if it is a challenging, tough conversation, you have to have them. Especially as a business owner, you can't allow things to weigh you down. And even having the right people in place. There's a book I've been reading, but it's like having the right people with the right systems is what's going to help scale your business. So the right systems with the right people, right systems, right people, and then you will scale your business. And so if you're like, even I'm in like on the brain trainer side, we had to let someone go. It was really hard to do, but it was necessary for the business to move forward because they were weighing the business down. So those are things you want to think about. Where can you declutter in your life, mentally, along with environmentally, and then, as we said, also write it all down.
Yes.
Write it all down. We mentioned journaling. If you haven't started journaling, it's time to start because you're able to record things, life lessons, learned ideas, objectives, and when you get it out, it's almost like when you see it on paper, it starts to become like real.
Yes.
I really do this. There's something about power of pen to paper versus fingers to your keyboard or your typing.
Yeah.
And like highlight, cross off. It's just it does something to the mental psyche. And no matter like how big or how small, it helps.
It does. It really does. Like you said, even just crossing things off your list, you can see a sense of accomplishment. Maybe having some stuff all caps versus not all caps. I love every bit of this. And guys, if you guys are loving this, give us some feedback. Give us some hearts on the screen. Press the little button over there where you can give us some hearts and give us some feedback to let us know that these things are helping you, because it helps us to grow even more and know what to share as well. So I like that.
And when you do write everything down, you'll start realizing your growth. Like I have books and books and books of journals where sometimes I'll occasionally just grab one and I'll read an entry and I'll be like, wow, I've come so far. Wow, that really happened.
It's so funny you say that. I saw a post on Facebook the other day and it was a meme and it said, who is this person from my Facebook memories from 10 years ago? Who is that person? Because it clearly was not me. And I'm like the stuff I was even saying and how I wrote it, I'm like, what? No, this will not be shared again.
Yeah. You might have thought 5 years ago, 1 year ago, is completely different. And so it's good to basically just reflect on your growth, because I feel like oftentimes enough, especially as business owners, we're always like go, 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 always on to the next one. And we forget this win that we just had.
Don't even enjoy the win because you're moving on and trying to do something else.
Yeah, we just throw it to the side like, oh, that was great, keep going. No, celebrate that. That was a huge accomplishment. It's just like every time if your mom or your dad and your child comes home with, a little certificate and you really like, oh my gosh, oh, congratulations, ah! And every time, it could be like they get it a couple days a week, or they're the student of the month. Every time you give them so much praise, like give yourself that praise.
It's funny you say that because I have a video on my phone. I'm doing a voiceover for it now and I'm gonna use it as real. My son is 27. My nephew is 3. We laugh all the time because my son is like, Uncle, why did you wait so long to give me cousins? This is the best invention ever, right? Well, my nephew is very, very, very heavy into sports. Football and basketball he loves. Well, of course, my son is the basketball guru. This is all. So imagine my son is 6'4", 6'5", and my 3-year-old nephew, right? And my son is teaching him basketball moves. Like he had I think, drumsticks setting a spot so my nephew could stand behind it and shoot free throws, right? Because my nephew was so used to just running up and slamming. And he was like, that's not all about basketball. You don't just get to dunk the ball every time. So you got to have skills. My nephew missed that shot. I was recording. He missed that shot. I cannot tell you how many times. My son was never like, oh, you're horrible, you missed that shot. He kept encouraging, you got it, go back, go immediately, get the ball. He kept like not making him stop. And the one time he hit that shot from behind those drumsticks, you could not have told us Gabriel did not just win the NBA championship. We were right? And it's like, that's something we need to relate in our personal as well as our business. We're so hard on ourselves every time we don't make the shot that when we do, we don't even celebrate that shot. It's like, now I got to go again. And so even when he hit that shot and we celebrated, he went back and you could see the smile, like the black boy joy on his face. He was so happy. It was so great. And it was just like, this is what we need to do for ourselves. Even if we keep missing the shot, it's okay. Keep working till you get it.
Yes. Keep working till you get it. Just like Gabe kept shooting and your son kept cheering him on. And that's what we have to do, cheer ourselves on. We don't
Yep.
cherish it enough when we're missing
Yep.
shots. We
Yep.
know it's okay. On to the next one. We will get
Yep.
down. We will contemplate giving up. Like, no, mistakes, missed shots, they are
They
going.
happen. And this is how you learn from your mistakes. Understand that. Like, you're not going to be perfect. If I had not had that massive explosion in my kitchen making that liquid soap, I would not have learned the errors that I were making. So I wouldn't have that happen again. And every time he missed it, my son never was like, oh, you missed another. She was literally, it's okay. Go back and get the ball. It's okay. Go back and get the ball. And to the point where now he's conditioned to keep trying no matter how many times he messes up. So that's what we have to learn to do.
I love that. And lastly is you need to plan for the next year. You need to plan for the next move.
Can you say that again, please?
You need to plan for the next year. You need to plan for the next move. You need to plan for the next day. Like, you need to make sure you're planning. One thing that's really big is, like, I like to take the time to reflect in the evening of the day and then also prepare for the day ahead. And that always keeps you on your toes. It always keeps you ahead of the game. Just fly by really with the night and with the day, and like as it comes to you, and you're just like, oh, I think I need to. No, if you plan, you prepare. What's it? Proper planning promotes perfect performance, or
Yes.
proper planning prevents poor performance. Either way, you need to be planning. And so if you haven't taken the time, this not sounds cliche. What do they say? Create smart goals. Yes, smart goals. Be very specific. Make it visual. I have a vision board that I like to occasionally update. And when you write it down, like what you're game planning, make it visual. Put it somewhere where you can see it all the time. Write it on your mirror and make it measurable. Set a timeline and a deadline for yourself.
Yes.
Action driven, action oriented. I mean, so most of y'all should already know this. Action, make it realistic. Don't make it so far stretched so once you come short, you're
Small wins, micro wins.
micro wins for macro results.
Yes.
And
again, we talk about, let's go back to this fitness. I've been on this 30-day journey of that. I told you guys about the 12-3-3, 12 incline, and this is on the treadmill, 12 incline, at a speed of 3 for 30 minutes. And I could not start off at 12 because I'd never done incline. I've been on the treadmill, but I'd never done an incline. I could not start off at 12 and go at a speed of 3. I just could not do it. But every single day I tried to increase that incline a little bit more. And then I started tracking like the weight loss versus it. And I'm not stuck on weight loss anymore. Now I want to just tone everything. But then I even noticed I started losing at least 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds every week. But this didn't start out like this. Like I said, Elle, this is her thing. She loves fitness. Me, is not my friend, right? But I'm starting to develop a better relationship with working out, and however that seems. So not every day maybe I'm not on heavy weights today. Maybe it is just strong cardio. Or maybe it's a dance move, or like I said, I use Elle's YouTube channel for my in-home working out, right? Whatever that is, so that you can celebrate those micro wins, and then it will be a macro win, right? So the fact that I could just I just kept in my head, it's just 30 minutes. If I can just contribute this 30 minutes to my health every day, where could it be? And then when we get on today, she's like, I've never seen you in pigtails. Yeah, I was in the gym so long, I forgot what time it was. I was just going, right? You couldn't have said that to me a couple months ago at all. So yeah, just put those the day before. One thing I do is I look at my calendar and see what meetings I have. That's the first thing I do. And then it's like, okay, what didn't I accomplish today that I had on my list that I can move to tomorrow? And how can I ensure that I accomplish it, right? So like she said, getting up on time. I have a prayer meditation alarm that goes off at 7 a.m. I would get up and do that, but then just lay in the bed and scroll. Or turn on MSNBC and watch for another hour. And instead, once I got done with my prayer meditation, get up and get my day started. By 10 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I've accomplished a lot, versus I'm usually just getting up around the 9:30, 10 o'clock. So that is huge. I love that.
and I love this. Makes me think of content. So how you mentioned, working out doesn't come easy. Getting on that treadmill, getting to 12 speed, it didn't come easy. You had to plan it in your day. You had to make little micro steps to get you to there. And you might not still be at 12, but you're getting closer.
Yes.
That's the same with content. You might not love content right now. You might not be able to think about content on the fly, but the key is to start implementing it into your life. Something small. Doing some research, doing some studying, taking the time to learn and create and possibly even delegate. And we have money-making messaging, which is actually a great resource for you if you are yourself have been struggling when it comes to content creation. Maybe you don't love it. You're not really sure, your content isn't sticking. You don't have the right people reaching out to you. You're unsure how to write your captions, create a carousel. You still don't understand this Reels short video thing that has taken, social media by storm and you're like, I don't understand it. I don't know how to do this text. How is it moving? How are people making all these transitions? You're like, oh my goodness. And you just want a more simplified process. So that way you can start attracting your ideal clients. You can start getting sales on autopilot because your content is speaking directly to you. And that's what money making messaging is. And
she said she don't love it.
that is what money making messaging is. It will help take the overthinking and frustration out of content creation. We even have in there 365 days worth of content ideas, plus hooks, call to actions, caption frameworks, and a plug and play content strategy that will help you, one, map out what kind of content you should be creating for who and how you're going to be able to articulate that within your messaging. So you're creating magnetic messaging that's going to, again, pull in your ideal client.
Yes. That is so key. Money making messaging is that micro win that you've been trying to get in your business that you never knew you needed, right? Something as small as like, how many of you guys knew that you can turn your stories into reels literally by pressing just one button in your stories? That is it. They have a little button down there, even if your story, so let's say it was a story series you did last week. So a prime example, on my Body Essence page, I might show throughout the day in my stories me making products, making the soap, right? Mixing, designing the soap, pouring the soap, that type of thing. I can take those stories, hit one button in the stories. There's the little reel icon, and it will turn those into a reel for you right there and there. You can edit it down if you choose to, and it will synchronize trending sounds to it. You just pick the trending sounds that you like. So it's done all the work for you. That's it. But a lot of people don't even realize that some of those things are there. Money making messaging is that thing that will help you put little small micro wins in place that by the time you're done, you're like, wait, when did this happen? Right? When did I lose 2 pounds in a week? Wink, 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 wink. Right? Mm-hmm. Money making messaging. And it is so easy to follow. It is so easy to just step by step by step without being overwhelmed while getting a clear understanding of how all of this works together so that you can continue to grow your business. Money making messaging is exactly what you need.
Yes. So comment M3 or DM us M3 if that is something that you would love access to, and we will connect with you, understand where you are, and definitely M3 money making messaging is really for anyone who is in the online business space who's looking to create content in a simplified fashion that's going to help attract more of your ideal audience.
Yes.
What I love recaps is 6 major keys to attract more abundance in the new year for yourself and for your business is 1, you need to take the time to look at your foundation and review your year. If you haven't done so already, take the time. I know it's a Wednesday, but before next week, tomorrow is December, but before next week, review.
Is it?
Yeah, tomorrow is December 1st. Yes. Mm-hmm. What? Review your relationships. The good, the bad. Take the time to write down your top 5 healthy relationships that you have right now, where you want to continue to, vibe with those people. 5 people who, possibly has been taking away from you and your energy that you could possibly disassociate yourself a little bit. And then 5 people that you would love to connect with and bring into your life that help continue to propel you forward in your business and in life. 3, finish strong with your team. So have those conversations, review their work, their wins, their losses, but then also allow them to give you feedback. And then 4, declutter your mind and your environment. Mentally and environmentally, that's going to help alleviate a lot of any stress or weight that you might have on you. 5, write it all down. Write everything down if you can. The more you write, it's going to help, again, also declutter your mind, but it's going to help give you direction and where you're going to be going. And then it's great. So again, when you go back and look at these notes and even if you have a journal on your computer, just how much growth that you had and celebrate small wins, no matter how small they are. Give yourself praise of all those accomplishments. And lastly, plan for the next year. Plan ahead. It's good to plan the night before, plan the week before, plan the month before, plan the quarter before, but you should always be planning. And that's how you're going to attract more to you.
Yes, this was really good, especially when you talk about plan for the next year, because if you're not where you want to be right now in your business, then don't just say, oh, it was just horrible for me this year, so I'm not going to do anything for next year. You've got to plan to make, and that's not just for your business, that's with anything in your life. So these 6 tips were amazing. And like she said, money making messaging, or like we like to refer to it as M3, is definitely what you need to help you celebrate that micro win, get things started, get it right now, y'all. It's an amazing price point. An amazing price point. Get it right now. Close out the year strong and propel yourself into 2023 all the way right and ready to take on everything. Yes. Hey, Alyssa Catherine, how are you?
And also start. If you haven't started, start. So start. Check out bios, comment below, or DM us. I'm free, and start planning now for abundance and more blessings to come. And we'll see you. Bye.
Have a good one.